so today I'm going to be going vintage shopping. I'm going to be going to some of my most favorite places in my area. There's a few places, like I am in like a really amazing vintage spot here where I live on the island. There is the really big barn. There's a few smaller shops in the area that I live in. So I'm going to be going to like 4 different vintage stores. Three, I think we'll do 3 today. But basically, one of them is really, really big and really, really awesome, and the other 2 are kind of smaller. But I'm going to be taking you along and seeing what I can find today, because vintage shopping is like my favorite thing, and I haven't really done one in a while. So yeah, I'll put my stuff on, and I'll take you guys out on the town and see what we get up to. So the first thing I did before vintage shopping was, of course, went to get some lunch. I got a BLT with some chicken on it on a whole wheat bread, which was actually really, really good. So after I finished my yummy, yummy lunch, I went into the first antique mall, and there was a lot of stuff here, but there wasn't really anything that I was truly interested in, so I didn't actually end up buying anything from here. But, it's still fun to show you guys what exactly I was looking at. I already have a lot of stuff at home, so I don't want to, buy things that I already have, basically. Even though I didn't buy anything from this antique mall today, it is still very fun to go around and look at what they have. It's kind of like a museum that you can buy from. Things that I personally like to buy and purchase are Pyrex, old pots and pans and dishes, interesting jewelry, furniture, clothing, just honestly anything that's, interesting. I also really like old tech, and if you actually saw just a few seconds ago, there was a machine that was from 1910 to 1920s that men could put in money to look at burlesque stars, that were not necessarily fully clothed. But I didn't want to show you guys because we have to keep this PG on YouTube here. There was also this really cool 1965 telephone record, which I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I think it was a show or something. I'm not too sure. In this antique mall, there is actually 3 levels. There's the basement, the middle floor, and then the top floor. I only went to the basement and the middle floor. I didn't go to the top floor just because they don't usually have a lot of stuff up there. But I did see this really cute little briefcase that I was interested in, but I don't plan on traveling anytime soon, especially with COVID. So I was like, you know what, if I want to travel, I'll come back for it. Or I'll find a set of suitcases that I prefer more. One thing about vintage is if you see something that you really, really like, buy it, because it probably won't be there next time. And after this, I made my way out of the shop to the next one. 1 down, 2 to go. So I looked around the antique mall. This was just the first one. I have 2 others that I'm gonna go to, but there wasn't anything there today that I was really impressed with. There was no cool tech. There was not even really any jewelry or bags or clothing articles. It was a lot of just random stuff that I wasn't too interested in. I'm not gonna say that some of it wasn't cool. It's just nothing that I would personally really buy or take home with me. So now we are off to the antique barn. This was the antique mall, and now we're going to the antique barn, and that is really, really big. It's really wonderful. It's huge, and it has a bunch of different vendors. It's actually, I think, the biggest one on the island that I live. It's bigger than that place, and we didn't even go up to the very top stairs because usually they have a lot of other just kind of stuff there that toys and stuff that I'm not really interested in. So off to the barn, and then there's one smaller vintage antique store that we'll be going on our way back home. We'll be looping around. So yeah, just watch, and we'll take you to the barn. Alrighty, so I arrived at the antique barn, and it is one of my actual favorite places to come antique shopping just because it is so big and it has so many vendors. Unfortunately, I found out later though that they're clearing out a bunch of their older vendors and they're bringing a lot of new people in, so there were a lot of empty spaces in here today just because they were clearing their stuff out for the new vendors by the end of the month. And even though I only found 1 item in here today, I am super, super excited that they do have some new vendors coming in, because I was told that they are specifically going to be introducing MCM material, so mid-century modern products. So anything from the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. I think, is the 80s considered mid-century modern? But regardless, I'm super excited because these people will be specifically stocking things that I like. And I was actually chatting with the owner up a little bit here, and what was really really interesting was the new vendors that they're bringing in are actually quite young, and they're very happy and hyper and very enthusiastic about vintage. It honestly makes me really happy to hear that more youth and younger people are interested in vintage, the aesthetic and the materials, because sometimes people are going through their grandparents' house and they'll see items and they'll think that it's junk, and if somebody sees something that is quite older and they notice that it is a mid-century item, they'll be able to kind of put that back in the market, and it can go to a home where it's appreciated and loved instead of just straight to the dump. Honestly, I just think it's absolutely fantastic, and I love the fact that, you know, a lot of people seem to be picking up an interest in this style and in the mid-century theme. There was quite a few different styles back in the mid-century, like Art Deco really came back, Space Age, Old Hollywood, Glamour. There was a lot. And as you'll see up here, this is actually where some of the new vendors are going to be. As you can see, they are clearing them out and they do look a little bit more empty, which is why there's nothing here. But I did see this really cute mid-century lamp, which this is the one item that I actually bought from here today. I actually really wanted this case here, but unfortunately I don't have the vehicle to transport it, so I couldn't get it. I mean, it was cracked, so I just wonder what the actual condition, how long it would actually last unless you got it repaired. But repairing vintage items is very hit and miss, because a lot of people like to keep things in the original state, whereas some people like to restore them. It really depends on the product. This is where I usually found some of their really cool, like, compact purses, but it didn't seem like they had any today, and I was a little bit sad because I wanted some, but it's okay, because, you know, that's the best part about vintage shopping, is that you never know what you're gonna find. Like, you could find an absolute score, or you could find absolutely nothing. That's the thrill of it. I'm really sorry, I'm just like browsing, like I'm intentively browsing stuff here because I don't want to miss anything. If there's something there that is calling my name, I'll usually see it right away. But I have such a good eye, like if I don't see anything, then I just don't see anything. But regardless, you always have to keep your eye out because there might be something absolutely magical hiding. So I got my lamp and I went to the next antique store. Unfortunately, there wasn't really anything here today either. There was a couple of really cute products, like these adorable pink gloves, and then there was a few things in the cases that I was quite interested in, but unfortunately not interested in it enough where I'm like, oh, I need that. And once again, it seemed like everything was kind of fairly empty. Usually when I come to antique stores, they are like fully stocked up to the roof. There was these cute vintage phones and then these adorable vintage porcelain dolls. I don't even know. I looked at some of their vintage coats and then their knickknacks. I wasn't too interested in this stuff, but it's still fun to look around. When looking at jewelry, you have to look at how the jewels are encased and then the clasp to identify the age. There was some cute stuff, but I really, really loved this set. If I got this set, I would probably want to use it, but I know that a lot of vintage pots, pans, and dishes actually have lead in them, so I probably couldn't. That was pretty much that. So my lipstick is giving away, but I've been on this hunt for Vaseline glass, which is like glow in the dark. It's like uranium glass, like atomic glass. But I looked everywhere, I couldn't find any. Apparently there was a lady that came in a couple weeks ago and cleaned out all the vintage stores of their Vaseline glass. So I went into one and I did find this Vaseline glass, except it's not your traditional kind of clear greeny yellow glass. It looks like this, but it is Vaseline glass and it's really, really pretty. It's adorable, it's very cute. It will glow in the dark and stuff like that because it's radioactive. So yeah. So that was the Vaseline glass that I got, and then I got this really cute mid-century bracelet. I absolutely adore it. It's super, super cute. I have a matching necklace that will look amazing with this, so I couldn't just give that one up. And then I got this really cute vintage little display thing, and you put your rings on this and it'll keep your rings all in one place, which I need that. I almost shattered my Vaseline glass. Whoops. So today may have not been the most successful vintage shopping that I've ever had, but I did get this really cool Vaseline glass, and I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like normally. It doesn't look like your stereotypical Vaseline glass. Usually it's like kind of yellowy green and it's clear, but this one is a super, super cool one, and this is what it looks like when you put a black light on top of it. Sorry, as my floor is paint all over it, and it will glow. If it is uranium glass, which is radioactive glass, it will look like this when you shine something on it, and it's super, super cool. But I just wanted to show you this before I headed off of the video, just because I thought, you know, it's my first Vaseline glass and I thought it was super adorable, and I only paid like 20 bucks for it, so that's actually a pretty good deal. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.